Good morning, everyone. This information that I'm providing this morning is for families who are based in the UK. So I had a question that was asked by one of my viewers and followers, and they wanted to know if one of the parents in a relationship can request that you have a supervised contact with your child. The question is to clarify on what supervised contact is. I had made a video before on this matter, and I still have some people coming up asking some questions around is my ex partner supposed to insist that I should have uh, supervised contact with my child? The answer is yes to an extent. The yes is based on a lot of things, and normally, if there is issues around contact, which is not regulated by the courts, unstructured by the courts, what some parents or couples who have separated, or they are no longer in a relationship for one reason or the other, or they have never been living together, and this child is going to be co-parent by both parents, and if one of the parent think that this child having contact with you will be placed at risk or might not be able to receive the standard of care that the child actually deserves, that parent has got the right for contact to be supervised. So when they talk of contact to be supervised in this context, is that an appropriate adult, somebody you deem to be responsible and understand that this child needs to be safe, or this child's needs have to be met while with the other partner, will be present at the time that this child is seeing the other parent. The reason why I said it is possible for a partner or an ex-partner, or people who have got children together but they're not living together anymore, can actually say that I wouldn't allow my child to see you unless somebody else or an appropriate adult is there to monitor and supervise when you are having contact with this child, to be sure that this child is safe, this child does not come back home with issues, or this child's needs are not met. So the key factors you have to understand are: one, the age of the child. If the child is still young and who cannot express his or her needs, or cannot report any incident that might have occurred or that could occur when they are having contact with one of the parents, then the other partner who has habitual residence for this child can request that, yes, I can only allow the child to see the other partner if somebody is there to supervise. So the age of the child is one key element. The second aspect is the issue around mental health or drugs related issues, or if there have been any parental assessment that have been conducted on this parent and the parent failed the assessment. So let's look at issues around substance misuse. Normally in a relationship, sometimes both parties, they tend to engage in a common activity which is illegal, or which can have detrimental impact on the parenting or upbringing of a child. After separation, if the other partner or parties thinks that you are still abusing substances or alcohol, then it's evident that that parent should be worried when the child is coming to have contact with you, because it will be disastrous if this child is having contact with you when you are under the influence of alcohol or drugs. So on this type of circumstances, the other partner has got a right to say, while the child is going to see mom or see dad in a particular environment, either in their houses or at grandparents' houses or uncles or whatever, then they want that contact to be supervised by somebody who is deemed to be free from those conditions that I've mentioned. Another aspect is when parents separate, sometimes there's what they call a parenting assessment that is conducted to see how you are capable of meeting this child's needs so that the child is not subjected to harm or to neglect. Because some children, when they are very young, all their care needs depend on the parents. So if, for example, a parent, a mother or a father is not able to prepare feed or a bottle for the child, it will be inappropriate for you to accept that this child should spend a lot of time with the other partner who is not capable to meet those needs. If the parent is unable to change the nappy, change the cloth, or if the child is not feeling well, can rush that child to hospital, then it will be inappropriate for the other parent to just think that, okay, it's all right for me to hand this child to the other parent who has not got those skills experience to support that child during that period of contact. However, there are circumstances where you can allow that child to stay there, but it should be on very short period of time so that the child should be back home to the parent who is responsible for feeding and looking after the personal hygiene for this child, so that the gap that the child stays is not long enough for this child to be left unchanged and be soiled, stay in a soiled nappy or whatever. So yeah, one parent can actually say that because my ex or whatever, the child, the father or the mother of my child is under drugs, is not able to meet the child's needs. An assessment had been conducted previously, and it was deemed that this person is not capable of meeting the need of that child, depending on the age. Sometimes it might be children as old as 13, 14, who also have some underlying difficulties, who cannot actually report incidents and or remove themselves from a risk environment or call for help when it's required. In that context, it's also appropriate for the other parent to refuse that this child should not see the other father or mother or parent without somebody who will assure that those needs are met. So in a nutshell, the answer is yes, but there are conditions that have to be considered for this to be implemented, for this supervised contact to be implemented. So I hope I have answered your question. Supervised contact should not be abused, should not just in all circumstances request that contact needs to be supervised, contact needs to be supervised. There must be key elements which I have pointed out to you as just mentioned: circumstances around mental health, drugs-related issues, the age of the child, the nature of the dispute, fear for not returning the child when the child needs to be returned back to the parent who is supposed to be having this child full care, etc., etc. So no two circumstances are the same, and therefore when requesting that contact needs to be supervised, you need to be sure that you're meeting one or two of those conditions that I've just mentioned. And to be clear again, you cannot request for the social services to supervise that contact, because the matter does not require social services intervention.